All right, folks, it is now 7 o'clock on September 11th, 22, and this is the CoC meeting. Let's see, who all do we have? Astral Winds, you here?
I am.
And Ravenstone. Mouse, that's you.
I know, I was trying to get myself unmuted and my phone was locked and then I went to the wrong page and I'm sorry. I'm here.
Abram, I'm assuming that's you in the video?
That would that's the case.
Let's see, Frozen Coast.
Here.
And is Cheon representing Icefire? I'm not seeing him. And do we have DLC? All right, so it looks like we're missing our two southern parks, but we can still move forward. So first on the agenda, have fair recap. Zygen, you want to give us all the good news that came out of the fair?
We made money. I don't have I did not calculate all the exact figures, but I can say we brought in $9,360 this year, which was more than last year. So I'm proud of that. I think, hold on, I think it's right in front of me, maybe. There's the contract. The lease agreement says I paid, wow, scramble. $2,326 for the booth this year. So what that's $7,000-ish net total. We sold 95 swords, 53 daggers. So whatever that math turns out to be for supplies on that, because I know we kind of bounced the sword stuff down from Ren Fair to Highland Games to us. So I say all in all, probably $6,000 profit, give or take. I thank everyone for coming out and helping us. Thanks Stonefist for giving me a whole day. That was amazing. Stefan and Trippy and Tauti for coming out again. Thank you to Drake, Rolo, Elena, Ansel, Karu for all their multiple times. Gamgee. And especially Gothic for spending the entire 3 weeks with me, being my right-hand gal. I don't know, and Gothic, I even remembered, I'm not even looking at at all the words, so I remembered you. To everyone for helping out. Hopefully next year I can get what I want, and we're going to expand to 3 booths and do a little bit and have a little bit more space for that. So thank you all again. We are having a barbecue this Saturday a little after the Moon Games, about 5 o'clock out at Oberon's house. So anyone who volunteered, come out and have some hamburgers, have some hot dogs, and hang out and chill out and have a good time.
Awesome, thank you. Winter locations and timing. Ronan, has Astral Winds figured out about what time they're going to try moving in?
Probably going to be around early to mid-October. We have our students currently going through the mandatory, the workshop for the club positions. And once they're finished with that, then they will be established club members at the UAF, and then we can jump on the gym.
Awesome. And just so everyone sees, we do have Chi now. Ravenstone, when are you looking to move inside?
So I have all the paperwork and everything to contact the rec center. I'm planning to do that on Tuesday because I'm working from home on Tuesday. I'm not quite sure when we're looking to move inside. With the rain and everything, it's probably better to do it sooner rather than later. I was really hoping to keep us outside as long as possible. I'll probably start booking the gym for early October. If the weather's nice enough, I'd like to keep us outside, but unfortunately with the rain the way it has been, it's not looking like we're going to really be able to do that.
Okay. Loop and Moon, what are your plans?
Coordinating with my, it's the second.
And do you guys have an established location again?
Yeah, still the Salvation. Sorry, no, just the Salvation Army gym. Sorry.
Okay, perfect. Froco, what are you guys thinking?
I still need to get with the rec center in Kenai, but I agree. I was on the same page as Mouse, where we're trying to stay out as much as possible, but we're probably going to be booking around like the middle of October.
Okay. Chi, how about you guys? I know you usually stay outside all winter. Is that still the plan?
I expect we might try to do the CCC, the gym. We haven't really talked about it though. We'll talk about it soon. We'll try moving in October. We'll see.
Okay, and you usually have a different climate than the rest of us time-wise anyway, so just keep us in the loop.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay. Next thing, let's see, did we get DLC on? If not, we'll just have to move their request for underage players.
I believe Majersa ended up canceling games today due to a personal emergency, so I suspect he's unavailable.
Okay. Let's go ahead. We'll move their request for some underage approvals to the next meeting then, which brings us to the fun one, DC bids. We have 2 bids. The first is from our crew down in Frozen Coast, headed by Sora, who's here. And then we also have the bid for from Zyajin, Mara, and Abram for a Palmer or Ravenstone Loop and Moon joint one. They are posted in the chat if anyone wants to review them or has any questions. We also have Sora here, as well as Zyajin and Abram. I think Mara ditched out on us. So feel free to hit them up with questions you all have.
I do have a couple questions on the Frozen Coast bid. I did not see on it, and Sora, I gave you permissions. You should be able to unmute and talk, FYI. But let me see for my questions. My biggest question is I didn't see any how much you were planning on charging for this event at all. I know I do understand that your space you're still looking at actually solidifying your space, but I do know that the rates for it were publicly online, and so that wasn't included in as a perspective as what. Sorry, I feel I'm rambling. That wasn't included. It just was listed as a TBD, but based on what the public rates were for charging for the area you were thinking of having it held, what would you expect to charge the populace to attend this event?
And that's a very good question, and we really won't know because we've got a couple different places we're looking at, giving us various different bid amounts that we're supposed to get cleared up coming this week, starting tomorrow. Hopefully getting to talk to people who actually know what the price would be instead of being, oh, this person's out on vacation right now, or I have no idea, I can't control that schedule.
Okay, so do you have any idea? I mean, like let's say if place A was $100 or $1,000 and place B was $2,000, what would you estimate that you would charge do you have any estimation at all?
Not yet, I do not.
And just to be clear, you're expecting you'll have those answers tomorrow?
Starting tomorrow, yes. That's when I was told at least one of the people gets back from vacation, and I've got his personal number from working with him in the past.
Does anyone else have questions regarding the Frozen Coast bid? And Populous, you're welcome to chime in too.
I'm wondering, so we had the question in the CoC when we were talking about what the plan for the setup with the dungeon was going to be. We were looking at the bid, it looked like at the Soldatna Rec Center, I think, and what the plan to set up the dungeon was going to be. If the plan was they were going to de-ice the ice rink, de-freeze, but I don't know, get rid of the ice so that we could play there, or if there was another plan for that, or what the goal for that was going to be.
The plan is to use the rink, and they've got a fake floor they put down. That's what we did when we did the home show here recently too.
Gideon had asked, is it both the hotel and dungeon site that are still up here for the next few days, or is it just I think the dungeon site is what we're hitting on, right?
For the most part, it's the dungeon site right now. We've definitely got one confirmed quote from Aspen. The Quality Inn has been very finicky about getting information to me. Apparently, we left a bad taste in their mouth the last time we had the dungeon crawl down here with them, so they're not very forthcoming.
Yeah. Thank you. I don't have any questions, but I did say in I do have like an opinion about it. I think that right now it'd be really good for Frozen Coast if we did have an DC down there, as we have, at least in my experience, what I've seen is that when we have more members come out, it prolongs their life in our game. Almost exponentially, almost doubles, maybe triples it by going to an event, is what I mean. And if we make that more accessible for Frozen Coast and their newer players, and I Spire Bay as well, closer to them too, might be able to help those parks right now as they. I know Frozen Coast has been struggling a little bit. You guys get your guys' feedback underneath for sure. You guys have a strong team right now, but maybe something like that might be worth it. Get into on that aspect of it. I know I'm doing the other side of it, right? Like there's my bid that's a part of it, and I'm still more than happy to help participate with you guys. But yeah, that's something that I kind of thought about, something I had on my mind, something I think that I say it might be good for you guys if we have a DC down there. Once we get those final numbers, that'll kind of help some folks on that, and it'll help us make a stronger decision. But yeah, I don't know. That's my take on it.
Of course, and I'll get those numbers as soon as I get them.
And Ronan, there's a question in chat that might be better addressed to you. Is there going to be concerns with Astral Winds being able to attend DC if it's moved from the fairgrounds where it was, I believe, back in 2019 was the last one, to, 2020, if it was moved back down to Froco?
I'm not entirely sure about that one. For the most part, a lot of our major issues is just driving through the passes in the middle of winter. So we usually just fly, I believe, member-wide. So if that is the case for the members who want to go down, I'm pretty sure that won't be so much of an issue. But that's definitely something we can talk about during Park Day. And I was wondering if they still need the numbers for those to solidify anything that's going on. Would we want to table this until next meeting, or was today just a discussion about it? Didn't know if we were doing the vote today or not.
I'd also like to get those numbers before we make a final decision, if that's okay with everyone. But any questions the populace has and that we have, I'd like to address while Sora's still here, and then we can make our decision with the numbers.
Yeah, I think for up north, as far as travel is concerned, I don't think it's going to be so much of an issue. Because we'd already be traveling several hundred miles to get to one place. A couple extra, isn't too much of a burden if we were to drive. But like I said, I think a good chunk just fly down, honestly.
Okay, well, that's good to hear.
So I'm still harping on these numbers. I'm sorry, because like people are saying, I mean, it would be nice to know how much it's going to cost. The Soldata, you keep talking about the Soldata Rec Center, and that is publicly available. That all that information. Would you guys look at that and calculate based off of that?
Sorry, trying to find the right button here. Yes, we did look into it, and from what the website said, we were looking at $5,000. But because I work with the lady who puts on a lot of events there, we're looking at possibly being able to get a better deal, which is why I didn't want to put down numbers without knowing everything. And we want to rent the kitchen from them as well, not just the rink.
I have them in my room that I want to show. Okay. So I think I did good, and I'm really happy with it.
Okay.
Fine, if we want to table this for today. I know that it sucks to push it back further, so we already pushed it back once.
Yeah, and that's the biggest concern I have. I mean, I don't care about my bid. I'm not looking at this like my bid versus their bid. I said earlier I would love to have it in Froco. Let's move it to Froco if we can. My pushing it back. The timeline we're looking at right now. I mean, we're almost to mid-range, and honestly, reality, I probably should have opened the DC bids up before I left office, but I got involved with everything else before I left office to even think about the DC bids, and this keeps getting pushed out further and further and further. We're losing a lot of time to actually plan DC. I mean, if we're almost to mid-range already, honestly, pushing it out any further. The only concern I have, again, when it comes to, and I'm looking at it from a business perspective, that the bid is an incomplete bid. And in reality, y'all should have put those numbers in there, even if they were not the right numbers. You create a the bid is asked to create a budget of what you estimate everything to be. And that can always change because as an autocrat, you report to the CoC and nothing is ever final because you can always go back and ask for permission to change things. If the Solana Rec Center didn't work out, you come back and you say, hey, we've got another site. This is what we're looking at. And we need to change everything to meet X, Y, and Z. That's my only concern is that I, as a member of the populace and other members, I want to know, am I paying $100 to go to DC? Am I paying $50 to go to DC? So whether or not you told me we were going to spend $8,000 on this event and I'm going to charge everyone $100, that's what I would expect to have seen in this bid.
Sora, are you able to get this information to us without question tomorrow so we can make a decision?
I can call the guy as soon as I can early in the morning. It's just going to be a matter of whether or not he picks up his phone for me.
And I see Rolo typing, so.
Oh yeah, he's really typing. He's going as fast as he can.
Yes, Rolo, Mayo is an instrument.
I appreciate the perspective there. It says, yeah, sometimes you have to put estimates into bids. If we have an incomplete bid and a complete bid that met the submission deadline, we should really be voting on the completed bid that met the deadline. I don't disagree with you, but I think that I'm fine to cut them personally, I'm fine to cut them some slack in the situation. We know that they've been struggling, and their volunteers, I think, are doing their best. I understand that they probably didn't want to scare us, like Arthur said. It says you're concerning that the number. It's might be sorry. I'm sure that number is concerning, but there's a possibility of just one room and just the rink. But I think that in an effort to get us a closer estimate, they did not complete their bid, which also comes without breakdown of pricing for the tickets, like Stephanie pointed out as well. But I don't think that we should. I'm fine to give them some space to make it correct and to get that information to us. I would be fine even if we put it off for a day. I'm off at 5 tomorrow. I can make space in my schedule tomorrow if we put it over voice chat.
My other. So I want to point something else out here as well. I know you're asking to extend it another day. Fine. However, this would be the second extension. So my questions was this bid put together? I mean, we've had a month on the bid already. So, because we've extended it once already.
If yeah, I mean, like, I suppose if we had to vote today, I know where I want to. And I'd rather have some more solid numbers before I made the decision to vote for the pros and cons to have it back. Yeah.
Sorry, what's the big problem with waiting till tomorrow?
It's not. It's just a second extension, and they had time to put their bid together, that kind of stuff.
It's fine. If we need to pull our bid and try again next year, we can do that.
Sorry, I'm not talking. I'm looking something up real quick. Okay. I'm not finding what I'm looking for off the bat. So I would propose 1 day extension with a final deadline of, you said, Abram, you get off at 5 tomorrow. So let's go 6 p.m. And we'll have a decision out by 6 p.m. tomorrow.
Is this something that I could? Are we going to have to be in person, or can I do a voting poll? Because I will be at work starting at 4 o'clock.
I'm fine with it being just a poll in the CoC chat, unless we have further questions for Sora or Zyaj, Mara, and Abram that we need answered. So
Perfect. As long as there's a summary that I can read, I can absolutely be in attention to that.
I feel exactly the same way.
I was muted. My bad. I said that's fine over here as well.
I'm in.
Katara, does that work for you?
Sorry, I can get myself on the that work.
Okay. Well, we will have a final decision on the bids then at 6 p.m. tomorrow evening.
Since we discussed that bid, are there any questions with the other bid as well? I mean, that should only be fair.
Yeah. Sorry, I thought I had asked that already. Do we have any questions on Zyaj, Mara, and Abram's bid?
Our plan is Raven Hall, right? And we don't have. Do we have anything set up with the Valley Hotel? I know that's where we used previously.
Sorry, I pushed my button at the same time. It is not. It has not been set up with the Valley Hotel, but that was our plan, is to use the Valley Hotel again, and because they give us the discounted blocks.
Yeah, the block rates. Yeah, solid.
And do we have any other questions? Okay. That is, oh, hang on, we've got Deirdre typing.
Correct, Dr. Deidre.
Okay. And now we got Rollo typing. Type faster, Rollo.
He is very slow. It's gonna probably just be something like, "Hey." You realize he deleted everything just to retype, just seeing how long I can drag it out. So you might want to just move on.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for that, Rollo. Okay, well, that's it then for the public session. If we want to move on down for the fun stuff. Thanks everybody for coming out.
Later.